On May 16th, 2004, there's an incident that happened right here at Jerry's Flower Shop. The responding officers that took the statement were Sgt Kjos, KJOS, and Sgt Rollins, Rollins. And from the story was that the witness was here preparing flowers for the suspect. The suspect pulled out a firearm, a silver firearm, and her brother came out from the back here. There's a hallway going to the back. The gunman turned to point at him instead, and she fled. There's two different statements that were written down. I'm not sure which one is correct because both officers interviewed her at the same time. One of the statements has her leaving this door before the gunman. The other one has her leaving after the gunman. Regardless, they say that she left this door and went this way, north, and then hopped a fence here to this home. The suspect went out this door and went eastbound. And was last seen going eastbound. The dogs subsequently tracked supposedly up this alley, or allegedly up this alley. And at trial, though, the witness claims to have turned and ran out the back door and ran this way, hopping this fence to the backyard and then calling 911. This fence right here, this is a 2004 picture, is a wooden fence. And I will show you from Street View on Google that it's a quite high fence. It's not a short fence, and there's all these cars in the way. At that time, there was a house here and a garage there. Not a very good line of sight to the alley, and to be jumping the fence and looking back, you wouldn't have really been able to see anybody in the alley. And the dogs ended up tracking somebody down that alley. At the initial crime scene investigation, they also found the back door ajar and unlocked, but there was no fingerprints. Again, initial story, she ran this way. Story at trial, she ran this way. So we're going to go check out Jerry's Flower Shop, at least what used to be. Right here's the front door. She claims to have ran this way, according to the police statements. It's hard to see through to the back to that alley. And from this side, it'd be almost impossible. She claims to have jumped this fence to that house and called 911. See, it's almost impossible to see through there. And if we go back down here, this is the way the suspect supposedly went. Okay. There's a big wooden fence here. That fence is not small, separating the yards. There's a building here and a shed here. So supposedly this is the track that the suspect took. This is the door she claims to have ran out of and then jumped this fence into the backyard. She claims it was a 3-foot high chain link fence, though, and this is not a chain link fence, it's a wood fence. And it's quite a bit higher. Unless she came and ran through here. Again, going back to the picture, there was actually a building here and a shed here. So she would have gone this way and then up and out if she went out the back. And at that point, she would have been directly in the alley with the suspect. But initial reports had her going that way. So if her story were true, this would be the fence that she jumped, seeing the suspect in the alley back here. But initial reports had her going out the front and up this way. Either way, very unlikely to see a suspect in the alley. And if this was the fence she was claiming to jump into the backyard, she would have gone out this way like that and around. And that just wasn't her statement, that she ran directly over there like that. And again, the initial statement was that she went out the front door And for the things not to line up like that, it's very questionable. In addition, 2 weeks after the incident, the investigator, Sgt Mattson, logged in additional information. Originally, the story was that it was a silver handgun. It evolved into a revolver. It's a silver revolver, and that was the crux of the case. Everybody saw him with a silver revolver. It's a silver revolver. Except for they found a discharged 9mm casing at the scene that wasn't logged in until 2 weeks later. That's the brass shell that kicks out of the firearm. That's for semi-automatic, not a revolver. Revolvers don't put out shells like that. They also found a live 9mm round, 3 live 38 special rounds, which is a revolver, and a gun cleaning kit. Pretty sure a robber's not going to bring live ammo, a gun cleaning kit, and a discharged brass cartridge for a gun that he doesn't have and leave it at the scene. There's one thing missing from the scene, even with that evidence, and that would be whatever firearm discharged that casing. And you wouldn't have live ammo, a gun cleaning kit, a discharged casing unless there was a firearm there. Where's the 9mm and where is the 38 special or 38 Smith & Wesson that Sgt Mattson logged in 2 weeks later? The firearms have never been logged in, and it's questionable as to if they were ever found or even looked into. The things that were logged in, again, the discharged 9mm brass casing, the 1 live 9mm round, and 3 live 38 rounds, and a gun cleaning kit. And that was even withheld, though, from the BCA specialist, Sergeant Timmerman. Sergeant Timmerman testified at trial in testimony line 784 that it was a revolver based on not finding any shell casings. So their entire story is just not lining up, and it seems like they were feeding information to both the witnesses and the people that testified against him, giving them false information. One of them for sure was a suspect before, so they claimed that he was there. The other 3 had been picked up on a robbery and were cousins later on that day, and they gave the same story, possibly to protect themselves because they were already involved in a robbery and they were being fingered for this crime as well. They were all given plea deals or threatened with jail time if they did not talk, and they were young kids.